Welcome everyone, welcome back. Welcome to these grand finals, the knockouts for SR2021. This is all what everything has been leading up to, the grand knockouts. Teams have been through 4 leagues that seeded their position in this grand and brutal and amazing tournament we're going to be having today. With me to commentate this spectacle, as always, is the inimitable Mr. Jake Howard. Jake, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really hyped for today. I think given the performances we've seen in especially the latest rounds of friendlies and League 4, today is going to be an incredible set of matches. There's going to be some amazing performances from all teams, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I think without further ado, let's move into what the game is for today. So as you all probably know by now, we're running module 4 of the Radars of the Lost Ark game, a pun which has been lost this entire year. The arena is what we can see on the left-hand side here. The idea is to drive up to territories, these sort of salmon pink circles we can see, and broadcast a radio signal to claim them. Normal territories are worth 2 points, bronze territories are worth 4 points, and the single golden territory in the middle is worth a whopping 8 points. Territories can only be captured if there is a link to either a captured territory or to the robot starting zone, and we can see these territory links in blue. And if you claim a territory, this is an interesting design challenge that we have. If you claim a territory you already own, then it is reset down to being unowned. This means you can sever your own territory links, you can undo some points you've claimed, and various other things like that. And of course, if one of your opposing robots claims a territory in the middle of your chain, then everything downstream of it becomes reset to unowned. So some very interesting changes with territories there. So we should be in for some good matches. So Mr. Lin, what does the robot look like for this year?
What an interesting question, Mr. Jake. Funnily enough, it looks something like this. The Mark 1 SR simulator robot. It's about 400 millimeters long, 300 millimeters wide. It weighs 72 kilograms. Do not do the density calculation.
Nope.
And it has a suite of advanced, not actually very advanced, sensors and some actuators. Its sensors are from bottom to top, 2 bump switches, which detect if it's rammed something from the front or rammed it from the back. 6 ultrasound distance sensors, 2 on the front, 2 on the sides, 2 on the back, which can detect over short ranges how far away it is from an obstacle. It's fitted with a compass, which can give it its absolute heading, and a secondary radar up on the antenna in the flagpole, which it can use to detect the radio towers which you saw on the diagram, getting the relative bearing to them and some semblance of the signal strength, and that is the main method that the robots can use to navigate around the arena. As well as that, actuator-wise, it has a transmitter within the same antenna, which can capture the territories once it's in transmit range of the towers. And of course, 2 beefy, heavily torqued motors to drive those mighty wheels on the side. It's a beast. And we will be seeing it multiple times today. 17 times 2 times, because there are 17 matches we've got to look forward to today. Schedule for them is available on the website. Starting off is the play-in for the 16th place in the knockouts between the 2 teams that were at the bottom of the league. That's We Southwoods and Harris Westminster, team number 1. We're then going to have a straight single elimination. Lose a match, you are out. There is a round of 16 in the heats, a round of 8, a round of 4 in the semi-finals. There'll be a match for 3rd place, and then the grand finals to decide who gets the mighty first prize.
Yeah, we're in some very good matches today. As always, you can ask us some questions in the chat. We have it populated full of very experienced blue shirt moderators who will be there to talk to you about things, relay things up to us, and generally make this an amazing event for everyone involved. And so we wish all teams competing the absolute best of luck for today. So, Mr. Lin, who are you looking forward to today?
Well, it's going to be interesting. If we have a quick look at the knockout table, there's some really interesting matches coming up in the first round, which I think it might be particular highlights. In particular, I want to highlight match number 150 there in the first round, which is St. Paul's versus Elton. Now, St. Paul's, for those of you who watch the leagues, will know had a fairly radical rise from their lower middling position in the early leagues to really strong in the later leagues. Elton have been much more consistent over the leagues. They are neck and neck. They are that's the closest match by league points in that first round. They are a single league point apart. I'm also interested to see how our play-ins fare against MAI, who are currently our league leaders. Is there going to be a big upset there? It's a possibility. And I'm quite interested to see the first one in that lot, actually. Hills Road 4 going up against a team from Brunei, Team YSH, Team Yasan Sultan Haji Hassan Al Bolkiah. It could be quite a good match to watch. That would be coming up after this first play-in, which is between South Wilts, appearing in the pink, and between Harris Westminster, who will be appearing in the yellow in this first match, the play-in for our knockouts today. One team will be going into the knockouts, one team will be going home. In a manner of speaking, obviously, all teams are probably at home, given the circumstances under which this competition is happening this year.
Yay.
Yay! Right, it's coming up very shortly, Mr. Jake.
Yeah, we're just a couple of minutes away from this first match. It's going to be an amazing match. It's definitely my hope.
Yeah, so going by the state of the league, South Wilts are marginally ahead. I suspect they're slightly more favoured because South Wilts appeared only for the first time in League 3. They made no appearances in League 1 and League 2. So their position in the league overall is perhaps slightly lower than their actual performance would have suggested. We are going to be going up against Harris Westminster, a little bit of an underdog perhaps, but the difference in between these teams is not a lot. And I think both of them have got a pretty good chance here. I slightly favour South Wilts perhaps, but this really could go either way.
I mean, we definitely enjoy the kind of match that we can't.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can't
good luck to them
get
both.
right until the end. Yes, this.
And counting down to this first match of our grand knockouts.
Nothing happened.
Technical difficulties there.
Great start. Excellent.
We'll be back shortly. Oh, it's been a good morning for technical difficulties, hasn't it, Mr. Jake? We had some real fun going just before going live. Those of you who were expecting a prompt start may have noticed that we were slightly behind schedule here. I'll just sort this out for you in a minute. In the meantime, let's talk quickly about some of the challenges these teams have faced getting here. No,
right.
Let's go.
We're good. Okay.
We are good. Pay no attention to the notice at the bottom. Mr. Jake, what's going on?
Yes, pay no attention to the time, but the matches in the games are correct. So we have South Wilts in the pink, who have nicely captured the Oxmouth territory there. Harris Westminster, it seems, are they've just sort of stopped a little bit there outside of the Banana Nest territory. That's not good to see.
No, that's most unfortunate. This may be once again the Zone 1 curse, which has been an ongoing problem for virtually all the teams. Quite frequently, they end up in a situation where they test primarily in Zone 0, and then in Zone 1 the performance is much less strong. You got to test in both, and that's been a difficulty for multiple teams. We have seen one team overcompensate and be stronger in Zone 1. In the meantime, let's have a quick look at what's going on here. South Wilts are doing a much stronger performance, looking like it's going to be them at this point, unless they manage to uncapture Oxmouth, which is quite possible, but unlikely. They're going for Badgerness at this point. Solid scoring match for South Wilts there. They're doing really quite well.
Yeah, and whilst the timer says 0, it's very much not 0. There's still 30 seconds left of the match, but that's a very nice 14 points for South Wilts there. Very, very nice to see. And unless HWM1 can do an incredible performance, I think that was it for them, I'm afraid.
Alas, poor HWM1. They put in a valiant performance, but unfortunately couldn't pivot there against South Wilts. Technical difficulties there. They kind of got stuck coming out of the starting zone. That's kind of a shame. And if this clock is right, we'll be going very shortly into the league. So yeah, we're sorry to say goodbye to Harris Westminster there. They've been a great team, but we're going to be seeing South Wilts. They will be going into the playoffs and facing off against MAI. Will they be able to pull that performance there, secure the win against our current league leaders? It's a big challenge for them, but they can pull it off. Could see the upset of the century against our erstwhile winners, Team MAI. But in the meantime, coming up next, we have Hills Road, team number 4. And they will be going up against YSH. Yes, and Sultan Haji Hassan Al Bolkiah. Hills Road 4, HOS 4 in the pink, YSH in the yellow in this first match of the heats.
Yeah, we've seen there both HRS 4 and Team YSH there nicely grabbing the first territories in the south of the arena. HRS 4 nicely grabbing Toolship there, whilst YSH deciding to go directly for Skarsingfoot. They've gone much slower there, but now HRS 4 are nicely taking advantage of that slightly slower pace, taking Hattersley and then seeing there nicely an example of cutting a territory. Whilst they initially had Hattersley, now Team YSH have claimed Beeston, taking it from their grasps. HRS4 not quite realising this and they look like they were trying to claim Skarsingford, but no, YSH are having none of it and have fully taken the entire link down to Oxmouth, taking Toolship as well, giving a very yellow hue to the bottom of the arena there.
Yeah, really good performance. What we saw there was a really good snipe. They got in and took Beeston and then took Chipping Variable off Hills Road 4, and Hills Road 4 have just not had the intelligent code to figure out what's going on. They're now in a really, really not strong position. They're going to need to really pull something out of the bag there. Looks like they're kind of in a capture loop now. They're just trying to take Chipping Variable over and over again. Hills Road 4 were the favoured team coming into this match. They were in position 2 overall in the league, but this looks like it's going to be quite a big upset. YSH look like they're going to take this. YSH in position 15 in the league against position 2, Hills Road 4. Look like they're about to secure the win. They try and take Hattersley. They didn't quite manage it. It looks like they ended up slightly outside of the capture zone when the capture finished, and you need to be inside the capture zone, the claim of a territory, both at the beginning and end of that claim for it to work. But it doesn't matter at this point. Unless Hills Road 4 can do something absolutely dramatic, and I really don't think there's enough time for it left, that is a win for YSH, pushing Hills Road 4 out. So that's a goodbye to Hills Road 4. My goodness, that's quite the upset there. Quite the upset. Hills Road 4 were heavily, heavily favoured coming into that match. But YSH get in there, they get a really, really good snipe out there on Chipping Variable, cutting Hills Road 4 off. And Hills Road 4, their back-off code wasn't up to snuff to recover from that.
No, an absolute stonking performance there. 18 points to 0 is phenomenal. And at this point in the game, that is an amazing performance, which I suspect will serve them very well as we move into the further stages of our knockout bracket. Yeah. Absolutely no idea what happened there. HRS4 have historically, they've been a very strong team from a very strong school. YSH, the nice newbie underdogs, new to this year and started late into it, but yeah, they are not they are anything but slow.
They go through to the quarters. Right. Coming up next, we have Team MCK, the Malay College. and they will be going up against Hills Road team number 1. Will we see another upset? Hills Road 1, the favoured team coming into this, but as we've seen, being favoured does not mean necessarily winning. This is going to be quite an exciting one. With MCK, Malay College, they will be in the pink, and Hills Road 1 in the yellow.
So, both teams there going for the southern approach there. We've seen very few teams in the friendlies. We've seen very few teams in the league. We saw them in League 4 going for that tops approach, but in all of the friendlies, we never saw them going up towards the top territories there. But now, nicely there, we have 2 territories apiece for both our teams. The Malay colleagues there slightly slower in their performances, but HRS1 are nicely taking advantage of that. They have taken Hivekirk, moved on to take Yellowware, and in the meantime, the Malay College there are doing a very interesting tactic there with Pinkton. It seems like, Alistair, what they were doing there was they claimed it, then they unclaimed it, and then they claimed it again?
Yeah, I'm really not sure what that is. I mean, this is obviously a almost completely mirror matchup at this point. They are now beginning to slightly diverge, but I really don't know what that strategy was there. They're unclaiming their territory and claiming it again. I mean, that was something that the teams were doing under the different rules of League 3, so possibly it's some code left over from that. Looks like things are going to tip slightly here as we get Flalesbury falling to Hills Road 1.
We do, but if MCK can also take Hattersley, it at least closes that gap slightly, and if they can move around and take the Golden Yamalot as well, then
even
taking there.
Taking Skarsingford there was crucial. That's just flipped the points in their favour, and now it looks like Hills Road 1 are not moving.
Yeah, it looks
this is a real problem for Hills Road 1.
Yeah,
they need to get out there and break a link. They can cause a lot of damage if they can break one of these links, but
yeah, if
they can take chipping variable here, they can turn this around. But they're going to need to get up there mighty smartish.
Yeah, with 5 seconds left, I don't think they will. And
no, wow,
no, it
happened
not.
Again. Yeah, really strongly favoured team in Hills Road 1, beaten by the Malay College, who get in there and just solidly take towers. Yeah, Hills Road 1 had a chance at the end there. If they'd managed to go down and take chipping variable, which they did have a link to, that would have broken enough territory links to get them the advantage back there. But they just didn't get there in time. They moved off to the left-hand side. I don't think Hills Road 1 has any pathfinding code. And that turned out to be their downfall. That really came down to how quickly Hills Road 1 would have been able or not able to go into chipping variable, station code Victor Bravo, and take it at that last 20 seconds or so. They just didn't manage it in time. And so the Malay College, with a really, really strong, solid performance there, they take that match and they get themselves through to the quarters.
Very, very well done there. Yeah, we're seeing the as we saw in the previous match, it seems that Cambridge and Southeast Asia are having some couple of disagreements there. That's YSH from Brunei knocking out HRS4 and MCK there from Malaysia knocking out HRS1. That's oof. Quite the upset. Let's have a quick look at what this next match is going to bring. St Olave's Grammar School, also in the UK, and they're going up against HRS3. We've seen 3 Cambridges in a row. Which way is this going to go? Now, HRS3 is marginally favoured here, but again, we're seeing how little that matters at this point. They go for a similar... Oh, that was not a great move there. Did you see that? So Hills Road 3 went in there to get switched over, and they turned out of it at the wrong time. Didn't get the territory here. Now it's looking like a very close mirror matchup so far. They both go for Beeston. Hills Road 3 with a later capture. That's going to favour them in this instance. Oh no, St Olave's team. They didn't check. They didn't check that they had Beeston. And now, oh dear. SOG 2, what's happened to them there? St Olave's team still number 2. They're not doing the checking. They're not using the sensor to check that Beeston is still theirs, and they're just stuck in an infinite loop here, trying to capture that central territory of Hattersley over and over again. It's not looking good for them, Jake. No, it's not. It looks like, yes, as you say, they just sat there constantly looping. It seems they're not quite checking whether their territory, whether they actually have a link to the territory. I mean, shipping variable is right there, it's right next door, but because there is a beacon in the way, owned by HRS3, they cannot. If HRS3 there, they are sat at Hattersley, and if they are able to initiate a claim, they will be able to take the territory because they have a link via beacon.
They do. I mean, if all Sword 2 needs to do here is move south, capture Beeston, capture Scarsingford, and they will tie this. Not anymore with the capture of Flailsbury up at the top. But unfortunately, they're just stuck in a loop. They're just trying repeatedly to capture and failing and going, no, look, there's a territory right in front of me which isn't owned by me. So yeah, this is a failure of back-off code. You need to detect whether something is working and back off and try something different if it keeps failing. And unfortunately, that is going to be the downfall of SOG 2.
Yeah, an amazing performance there from the HRS number 3 robot. That was an amazing performance there. Being able to just move around, claim the arena was awash with yellow there. There was just a huge number of territories. 34 points.
Hillsborough 3 showing how it's done.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Hillsborough 3 have really good navigation as well, and that's paid off in spades for them. So they put in a really solid performance there. They get the golden territory of Yamalot, and they beat out SOG 2, who got stuck in a loop. So congratulations to Hillsborough 3, who make it through to the quarters, and unfortunately it's a goodbye to the team from St. Olave's.
That's a real shame. St. Olave's team, they were doing incredibly well in a large number of our friendlies and even the four modules, especially SOG1, which merged recently with SOG2. They were doing an incredible job, and they were doing pretty well in the recent round of Module 4, but alas. So we are now moving into match number 148. In the pink, we have Team We Robot from France showing this rarely seen tactic of going northbound. And in the yellow corner, we have the the second team from Malaysia, the third from East Asia. We have Team TKC, College Tunku Krusia. These robots should be very, very interesting to watch there. We've seen We Robot going for a spiral sort of technique with their territory claims, going from the top sort of clockwise there, claiming the territories there, and now they can sever the connection at least by claiming Scarsingford. They've stopped those there, but it seems TKC, just simply because of the spiral technique, it means they're vulnerable to a very long chain being completely severed. Yeah. And TKC there showing exactly how dangerous that can be.
Well, We Robot are able to do the correct backtracking strategy here. Like, they are going back and trying to claim territories that they missed. They are reacting to the changes. They will be able to go and get this back. They're going to claim Pinkton there and break that link up to Tudor Hammer at the top left. But it really depends. Yeah, this is going to be quite close. We saw this spiral strategy from We Robot in the last league session. But it looks like they've been countered.
Yeah, but we can see here in the final 30 seconds of the match, and We Robot, they've nicely there been able to reclaim some of the territories there. It seems this spiral technique, perhaps just by looping round the central hexagon of territories, they're able to just keep checking, keep claiming, which is a very interesting tactic. But it seems TKC there, whilst they were doing so well just 30 seconds ago now, because they have lost their links, they were unable to claim any additional territories, and thus, unfortunately, lose the match 18 points to 8. So unfortunately, that means we are saying goodbye to them.
Yeah, they've been a fantastic team. They came in late to the competition and have done really well. What we saw in that match there was a win for intelligent movement. Now the thing is that lots of robots we've seen get stuck when they get when they get skewered like that, when someone comes and disrupts their strategy. But what we saw there was just completely methodical movement from WeRobot. It backtracked until it found the link that had been broken, and once it had got back, it just walked forward again. Just it understood the state of the arena and the links between it's been programmed to do so, and it just methodically went back, claimed them all again. Yeah, it's because it had the intelligence to do that backtracking properly. And that has pushed them, that as well as the interesting, clever strategy of going north, has pushed them through.
Yeah, it's not all about just simply being able to move and being able to claim territories. The awareness of your surrounding, not only where you are, but also because of these territory links, it is critical to understand which territories are claimed and which ones are not.
So let's have a look at how that plays out in this next match. Right, in the pink, we have South Wilts coming in from the play-ins, and they'll be going up against the league leaders MAI, Gymnasiummarkt Iddersdorf. Now, they both go for the south strategy. They both go out the mark, more or less similar strategies. MAI, more precise movement. That's one thing we have seen from MAI. Those very carefully orchestrated movements. They put them together fairly linearly, but the individual movements are very carefully orchestrated. South Wilt's a bit slower out the gate there. They do get in, they get the tall ship, they're heading up to chipping variable now. Gymnasiummarkt Iddersdorf getting a little stuck on that tower there. I'm not quite sure what they're doing here. I'm sure they'll get their feet eventually. I think at this point they're going to be either going for Ponyhurst or trying to head back south down towards Beeston. Those would be the obvious targets. Beeston is taken by South Wilts, and if South Wilts gets Port Lucent here, that ties up the score for South Wilts. So a really strong start from MAI there, but South Wilts bring it back. It looks like MAI has got stuck in a bit of a bind here. They're not quite sure where they are. The thing about MAI's code is that it's really, really detailed orchestration of individual movements, like incredibly precisely calibrated movements to get from basically any territory to any other territory. But they're put together in a very simple linear way. And if it gets out of that flow, it can get confused. And it looks like the simpler but more reactive code from South Wilts is possibly going to give them the upset of the tournament, if there is one, coming in from the play-ins. It looks like right now they're about to beat our league leaders, Jake.
There is absolutely no way I would have guessed this happening. Absolutely not. MAI, considering they are right at the top of the league and South Wilts were a late start, this is an amazing, amazing performance from this late entry. There is no way I would have seen this coming.
No. Really don't think there's much that MAI can do in these last few seconds. They can maybe get Port Lucent here, and they do, but that only brings up to 12 points against the 30 from South Wilts, including managing to navigate their way north and capture Yamalot, the Golden Territory. Really, really super strong performance from a team coming in from the play-ins there.
Yeah, they were sitting at the one of the bottom slots in our league to take on and beat the team right at the top by such a huge margin. So, it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, blimey, stunned as I am to hear myself say these words, we're going to be having to say goodbye to Team MAI here. Gymnasiummarkt Iddersdorf, the mighty team from Bavaria, knocked out there. Just as it happened, they got into a slightly funny state which their robot unfortunately couldn't deal with, and they were beaten by a really unexpectedly but really, really strong performance from our team from South Wilts.
I'm still just taking that in. MAI knocked out by team at bottom of leaderboard. You can sort of see newspaper headlines reading something similar to that. I cannot. It's absolutely amazing. Incredibly well done, team SWI there. So we're now moving into match number 150, which is, as Alice said earlier, should be a very interesting match. In the pink, we have St. Paul's College from Adelaide, Australia. And in the yellow, we have Eltham College. We've seen there now St. Paul's going for the northern approach there, taking their shooter hat and Pinkton. Very nicely done. Eltham College there, whilst they've taken Bananas, they seem to have stopped moving. That's a...
Oh, no.
I am hoping that's not a bug.
Have Eltham been Zone 1 cursed?
I hope not. We've seen throughout this league, we have seen the quote Zone 1 curse in that the default testing corner is corner 1, is the pink corner even, so if you don't test on the other side you can have bugs. This is the one time where that is just
really not great. That's so unfortunate. And St. Paul's in the meantime doing fantastic. They take basically the entire, well, they do take the entire north side there. They go like bad manner Eltham there, just drive right past them so they can go and get Skarsingford and Hivekirk.
Yeah, and something I did see there, just before the walls dropped, there was some very fluid movement going around the bottom of that dropping wall there, just by the Banana Nest territory. They didn't even really stop, check and turn. They just moved so with graceful elegance there, right around. And with 30 seconds left, they've got 36 points under their belt. I think, given the layout of things, I don't think we're quite in for a full house.
No, I don't think we can get a full house at this time, but oh God, what a strong performance. I mean, St. Paul's just... What can I say? They've been amazing. They've been dominant in League 4, and seeing it yet again here.
Yeah, that's... And there we go. As the clock strikes 0, we have a huge 44 points to St. Paul's. Unfortunately, it seems that whether it be a regular software bug, which, trust me, happens to absolutely anyone and everyone, or whether it be a repeat of the Corner 1 curse, unfortunately, we are saying goodbye to the Eltham College Team ELC.
I know Eltham were having to test very, very close to the deadline yesterday. Unfortunately, that seems like it might have bitten them pretty badly here. So we're going to have to say goodbye to them. But it does go to St. Paul's. Now, I happen to know that St. Paul's did a very, very clever trick to get past the Zone 1 curse, which is that they essentially mirror everything that gets passed to their main logic. So as far as the St. Paul's robot main logic of St. Paul's robot is concerned, it's always in Zone 0. And they just essentially reverse all the turns and reverse the headings and reverse which stations they're reading.
Yeah,
so it always looks like they're in Zone 0.
It is,
which is simple but really, really clever, and that's worked out really well for them.
Yeah, absolutely genius, and it is no accident that our arena is symmetrical in that sense, because it means both teams are starting with equal footing. But what it means is, if you just mirror everything, then the differences between corner 0 and corner 1 just completely vanish.
So up next we have Hills Road team number 2. They'll be in pink. They go straight down and play Oxmouth against Colliers, who are right now mirroring them almost to a T. This is happening almost exactly the same rate. So Tallship and Switchstow both fall. They're presumably both going to go for Chipping Variable and Skarsingford. So this is potentially going to go to a rate fight down on Beeston. But no, bit of a slip up from Hills Road team number 2 there. They don't manage to get Chipping Variable, and I don't know if they've realised that's what's happened here. They need to head back up and take it. But what are they doing? They're heading up towards Skarsingford. You don't have a link to there, my friends. Colliers are in a much better position here. If they can dislodge themselves, they could be in for a lot of points here. Hills Road 2 need to pull something out of the bag, Jake.
Yeah, that's got to be quite a deep bag of quite a lot of tricks there. We've seen so far, this is, I believe, we've seen so far we're on one of 3 of all the HRS teams so far have been knocked out by their opponents, and we may be seeing it again.
Blimey. I'm sure there's some lesson, like deep lesson to be learned here, but I did not expect this. I mean, it's still, we know how intelligent the code in Hills Road 2 is. Really, really nicely written. If any team could pull it out the bag from this point, it would be Hills Road 2, I think. But it's an uphill battle at this point. They need to get down south. They need to go and get Chipping Variable. And they need to do it fast. It looks like Colliers are slightly stuck, which works in Hills Road's favour, but Colliers pulling it out the bag there.
Oh, yeah, that That is not how I imagined this match going.
No, absolutely not. Colliers, again, Hills Road, the favoured team, in 4th position overall in the league. Colliers down in 13th. But they bring it home. They get the 4 territories, and that misstep by Hills Road 2 in not managing to claim chipping variable there, followed by that wandering around, not realising what had happened. That was what bit them. Compare that to, say, what happened with Wii Robot, and something unexpected happened. Wii Robot systematically went back and retried until it was able to get the claim to work. Hills Road 2 just slips their notice there, and that was their downfall.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and it shows that even the strongest team in the league, if you make one misstep, one slight error, one tiny bug, you can come crashing down pretty damn hard. And unfortunately, I think that's exactly what happened with HRS number 2 there. They unfortunately just either were having some issues or just miscalibrated something, or just added in a brand new strategy, which I can say I have definitely done right at the last minute, which didn't quite pan out.
Well, so we're going to have to say goodbye to Hills Road 2 and a massive congratulations to Colliers.
Yeah, so match number 152, the final match of this round of matches. We have in the pink, we have Barton Peveril, and in the yellow, we have Kegs Chelmsford. Kegs Chelmsford there again, going for the northern approach, one that we've seen very rarely in these matches, but it's a nice one, and at the moment at least it's proving pretty effective.
Yeah, they get that northern path is panning out. It's kind of a game theory thing. Like, if both go for the north, it can be quite dangerous, as we saw in a couple of matches before. Now, yeah, they're going to have to get that fight for Skarsingford, I think, for Kegs. Otherwise, they risk an upset by Barton Pev here. I think they should be able to get this. We'll have to see how Barton Pev reacts to this situation as it unfolds. I'm slightly concerned that Barton Pev might have more or less dead reckoned their way there.
The lack of movement out of them does make me think that maybe they've just run out of instructions.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be what's happened here. That was the limit of their programming, and unfortunately, unfortunately for some, fortunately for others, Kegs are much more reactive. They're able to just go through and claim these territories back. They go up, they get Hattersley. They're going up and getting Badgernis. If they go and take Oxmouth here for some bad manner, no, then it looks like they're heading up towards getting the Northern Territories, which probably makes sense because it lines them up for getting Yamalot, the highest risk and highest reward territory. Yeah, but Kegs, Barton Pev, early signs of really strong success there, getting that Skarsingford, but unfortunately they just kind of stop. And Kegs, with the more robust code, they go and take it home. That's
got a sting for Barton Peveril there. That was, yeah. I mean, Kegs Chelmsford have been an incredibly strong performing team throughout this entire competition, but unfortunately, they were a little too much for Barton Peveril, and that means, unfortunately, we are saying goodbye to Barton Peveril. So let's take a look at exactly what our knockout bracket looks like currently. Here we can see scores slightly outdated, but we can see what exactly the next pairing of matches will be, whilst not in the order they will be played. So we can see when SWI and MAI went up, SWI ran victorious. St. Paul's have come through, as well as Team Colliers, Team YSH, HRS3, MCK, and WER are all through.
Kegs.
And there it is, Kegs Chelmsford, all through into our quarterfinals. And I don't think I possess the adequate knowledge and wording to be able to accurately untangle exactly what it is we've saw. So I'm going to hand over to my brilliant colleague and the creator of that knockout bracket UI, Mr. Andy Barrett-Sprott.
Hello. Thank you, Jake. I am Andy. I've been doing the analysis for these league matches. I'll be tag teaming with Jenny, so you'll see her coming up next for the next round of matches. Okay, so let's get into the review of the heats. So first up, let's look at a few highlights from previous matches. So this is the match with YSH and HRS4. It's a quick clip of the excellent steal that YSH does, taking control of the arena, and HRS4 doesn't really know what to do after this point. They sadly struggle to find their way back to zones they can capture, and so that's how YSH wins that round. Now for the next round, match 148, it's We Robots versus TKC. So you can see this is a really exciting match. TKC starts off quite strongly and captures a lot of zones. It completely dominates and takes all of those zones away from We Robots. However, We Robots has a good methodology. They calmly go back in order, finding their first zone they can capture, and manages to completely reverse it by the end of the match. So that's a really good show from We Robots there. Next up is SWI versus MAI. This is a really shocking match, actually, because MAI normally performs quite strongly in our leagues. I was surprised when Southwarks Grammar School knocked out Gymnasium Markt Indersdorf. While MAI showed a steady increase. You can see on this chart that MAI shows a steady increase in game points across the competition. Southwarks had an almost exponential increase despite their late entry. These teams first faced each other in the third leagues, and on that occasion it was a much closer match with MAI being the victor. This time, however, MAI somehow got lost in the top half of the arena and couldn't really recover. They were doing that spin in the circles. This is unexpected from such a consistently strong team. SWI's recent improvements allowed them to capitalize on this, leading to a strong win in this match. SPA versus ELC. In their first knockouts match, it seems that ELC crashed after capturing a zone. Another example of the Zone 1 curse, I think. ELC have had some consistent performances before, but you can see SPA's recent performance have put them in a great place coming into the knockouts. This is a really strong show from St. Paul's College, who have shown lots of improvements recently, having had such a slow start to the year. Now it's looking ahead. We have a rematch coming up. We have a rematch of Yasan Sultan Haji Hassanal Bolkia, YSH, against Hills Road 4 from the last league, match 1 through 4. Can they repeat the performance and knock out HRS, another Hills Road team? And we also have Southwoods Grammar, managed to knock out GMI, or MEI, sorry, Gymnasium Marktdorf Innersdorf, who are at the top of the league. St. Paul's College are pretty strong, so we'll see if Southwarks Grammar School are able to keep up, and that'll be an exciting match of those two. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. We'll have the next matches for you in a minute, but first, it's time to say goodbye to a whole raft of teams, unfortunately. So after that round of heats, we are saying goodbye to St. Olave's Grammar School. We're saying goodbye to College Tunka Kursia. We're saying goodbye to Hills Road 1, 2, and 4. We're going to be saying goodbye to Eltham College and to Barton Peveril of Eastleigh. We're going to be saying goodbye to Gymnasium Markt Indersdorf, and we're going to be saying goodbye to Harris Westminster from the play-ins. Great teams all. Unfortunate for all of them, but this is the nature of the knockouts. It's a brutal game. It can come down to a single mistake, as we saw multiple times there, Jake.
Yeah, it's just individual mistakes that it is almost a case of just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or putting the wrong line of code in the wrong place, or the wrong strategy at the wrong time can just be enough to really halt things. And that's a real shame. But
yeah, Quite the spanner in the works. But I also think that we've saw some really, really good performances in those matches. And I do think that all of the teams who've made it into these quarterfinals coming up deserve to be there.
Absolutely, yes. Incredibly strong performances from absolutely everyone there.
Yeah. We're just working out some details on the timing, so we'll be back to you with the next match very, very shortly. I do want to talk quickly about some differences in strategy. Because I think, from what I've seen so far, it looks like we only had 2 teams, right, take the north approach.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, that maths checks out.
Which is We Robot and St. Paul's. I don't know if they're going to be... Well, we'll see if they end up facing each other at some point here, depending on how the next bit of the leagues goes. But yeah, it's like you get the winning strategy absolutely if just one of them does that, even if it is a bit risky. But it's going to be really interesting to see like the head-to-head clash up in the north section, because we haven't seen any head-to-head clashes out there so far.
Yeah, I think this very first quarterfinal could go either way. Mr. Lynn, who's coming up in this quarterfinal?
Very, very good question, Mr. Jake. We have Hills Road team number 3 in quarterfinal number 1, and they will be facing off against YSH, a team from Brunei. Hills Road 3 in the pink, YSH in the yellow. This is going to be a good match, I hope. Hills Road 3, the last one standing of the Cambridge... Isn't the Cambridge 4 aspiring? Of the Cambridge 4. And off they go.
Or apparently...
Or don't.
They don't. Excellent.
The words technical and difficulties come to mind.
A little bit.
Just a smidge.
Yeah, that's also not the match. Interesting.
Student Robotics will be back with you shortly.
Yes, I think this is a really nice example of just showing exactly where the importance of testing. We've been doing these live streams. We've run on average 2 or 3 a month for the past 4 months.
Yeah, this is the 154th match of this session so far, and it's still having technical difficulties.
Yeah, absolutely anything can happen. Even like both Alistair and myself are professional software engineers, and we still bugs can happen to absolutely anyone.
Oh yes, very spicy ones, very crazy ones.
Yeah,
you should see some of the stuff that we had to come across when we were developing the Student Robotics kit. At one point, we had a bug in the Student Robotics kit where exactly 1 in every 14 boots, the entire kit would just jam up and stop working. But like measurably, exactly 1 in every 14.
How excellent!
Yeah, like how does that even happen? I don't think we shipped it like that, but.
I'd kind of hope so. When I competed and used some of the SR kits, I don't remember having 1 in every 14 just completely die.
I think we might have actually discovered that at Kickstart. Yeah, it turned out it was because it was the Wi-Fi channels it was selecting. Like, there's only 13 legal Wi-Fi channels in Europe, and it was picking a number between 1 and 14. And if it happened to pick 14, it would jam up and the whole thing would fail to boot. But yeah, it happens to everyone. It'll happen to you.
It will happen to you. No one.
Happened to a few teams at least so far today.
Yeah, absolutely no one. No one is immune to any software bugs, especially, I mean, the famous quarter 1 curse that we have seen throughout this entire thing. And we saw so many teams throughout this entire thing. And even when it came into the knockouts, some teams were still not quite aligning themselves up, having maybe not fully tested or done all of their development in corner 1, and when they gone to map it over, maybe missed something or not done as much testing and things like that. It's not great.
So hopefully what will be great is the match that we're actually going to get to you now. Coming up, we have, once again, Hills Road 3. They'll be appearing in the pink. And YSH, they will be appearing in the yellow for this first match of the quarterfinals.
Yeah. Technical issues are so fun, aren't they?
Good luck, both teams.
There we go. Hey, look, a countdown.
Ah, finally. Okay, and we're also a minute out. Great. No, it's all good. What are we going to expect? What are we expecting from this match? Who are you putting your money on, Mr. Jake?
I'm not a particularly gambling man, and I think, given that I'm commentating and somewhat judging things, I feel like I shouldn't strictly put bets on things. But
okay, in a hypothetical world where none of these things were true, and you were a betting man, who would you be putting your money on?
I think YSH. Partly,
given the historical upset.
Yeah, given
For I am become YSH, destroyer of Cambridge. Yeah, they knocked out Hills Road 4 in the previous round. Will they pull it off again?
Yeah, this could be a slam dunk from Southeast Asia.
Right, hopefully this time, off they go, and they actually move this time. Right, we have Hills Road 3 heading down south. They immediately go for Oxmouth. Slightly slower down to Banana Nest for Team YSH, but they still get it. Very similar performances from both now. They're going for the both go for the slightly more conservative route. No, they're not. Actually, straight out to Scarsingford for Team YSH. Hills Road 3, HRS 3, trying to get chipping variables here. Are they going to have the same problems as their colleagues? No, they don't. Beeston falls first to YSH, but it's quickly followed up by Hills Road. Oh, did you see that? YSH, they hit HRS3 there and knocks them slightly out of the Beeston capture range. Are Hills Road 3 going to figure out what's going on quickly enough? They need to capture chipping variable quickly here before YSH get Oxmouth. They do. Oh, goodness gracious me, this is stressful. Right, Hills Road 3 need to go back into Beeston. They get it? They don't. They turned out of range. They turned out of capture range there. They get Beeston. They bring the scores back. Right, it's now points in Hills Road 3's favour. YSH looks like they don't quite realise that they haven't been getting the captures here. Hills Road 3 were able to recover it there in a way that YSH have not. They go for Scarsingford. It looks like Hills Road 3 is having consistent problems here. They're trying to do the SPA thing. They're trying to do the St. Paul's thing where they turn preemptively while they're doing a capture, but it's a risky manoeuvre, and we're seeing that here because, Jake, they keep turning out of capture range.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Fortunately, with our API, we allow teams to initiate a capture, do some stuff, and then finalize a capture. And in theory, they can do anything they want in that gap, so long as that gap is around 2 seconds, whether it be moving, whether it be scanning, whether it be whatever, doesn't matter. But they still need to, do that final claim, and they need to still be inside the territory at that final point. And if they're not, whether it be on their own accord or because they've been moved out, tough. Basically, no territory for you.
Yeah. Well, they managed to knock out one Hills Road, but vengeance from Hills Road 3 for Cambridge there, as they take a really, really strong performance there. They were able to go and figure out what's going on and go and bring things back home, and YSH just unfortunately not able to do so in quite the same way. So that is a goodbye to YSH, and Hills Road move forward into the semis.
Yeah, I'm sure as hell glad I'm not a gambling man. But yes, that's commiserations to YSH there. They were doing so well in the first rounds against HRS number 4. Yep. But unfortunately it seems HRS number 3, just that one number slightly higher, is just enough to knock them out. And it was a valiant performance from YSH, not only in this match, but throughout. But unfortunately, sometimes just this one instance does matter, and this is the point of the knockouts. If you trip even slightly, that can be enough. You're done.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, but I mean, getting it was an absolutely valiant performance from a rookie team as well, a team who've never competed before. getting through to the quarterfinals and knocking out Hills Road. Great performance.
Yeah, so quarterfinal number 2 here. We have the Malay College in MCK in the pink corner, and they're heading up doing the first team to do the Northern Strategy. We have, ironically from Southern from me, we have Team We Robot from France, and we can see there, whilst in the first round of matches they were in pink, but this time they are in yellow, so we can see the spiral happening the other way. And MCK there, now we may see some contention there from the Bravo Golf territory there. Bagnes there, we seem to have a little bit of a pile up there, Alistair.
Yeah, that was looking a bit dicey there. Now they do manage to untangle themselves, but there was a bit of a tussle there as they both kind of got wedged. There's a really tight choke point, which is actually probably the hardest point to navigate around in this arena. It's getting past Hivekirk and Bajoness. It really doesn't help you on ramming into another robot, which you don't expect to be there.
Yes, whilst territories don't move, the central wall doesn't move, the dropping walls move, but when you expect them, robots, they move in sporadic ways, so
yes,
gotta keep an eye out for them. But We Robot there, nicely bathing our arena in a wash of yellow there. 20 points currently, and unfortunately they go for Bagjoness, but because the Malay colleagues were able to steal chipping variable out from under their mitts, they no longer have a claim, and we can see their frustration as they ram their head into the central wall.
Are you feeling like an upset? I'm feeling like an upset.
Yeah, that's...
We Robot, the outright game point winners, like highest points scored in total by some margin in the league, now bouncing back and forwards like it's a tragic game of pinball there.
And by 2 points. A single territory claim. Unfortunately, we are saying goodbye to the incredible team that has been We Robot. A very, very unfortunate.
Wow, my goodness, Jake, this is turning out to be a spicy finals.
Excellent.
I did not see that coming. Yeah, MCK, really, really, really strong performance there. They take it out from under We Robot's nose, and We Robots get stuck in a loop there and don't manage to escape. And MCK takes it away from them. They knock out one of the teams that might even have been the favourites to win outright. Winners of the Rookie Award, certainly.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Ooh, that was not expected at all. I was expecting that to go very differently, but it shows it doesn't matter how many points you get, so long as it's more than your opponent. In this case, even 2 more points could be the difference between victory and elimination.
Oh, well, we'll have to see whether this next match is quite as spicy. I suspect it might be, given the surprising performances we've had out of South Wilts. They're going to be going up against the very intimidating St. Paul's. Will they be able to pull off another amazing upset? Only time will tell. South Wilts going for the stealth strategy. They go for Oxmouth. They need to go around to get the tall ship now. We've seen the northern strategy pulled off some from St. Paul's here. We're not going to be seeing a head-to-head now that We Robots has been knocked out. They do head down. They go for Ponyhurst. Presumably going to be going up to... No, they go down to Hivekirk there. Tall ship taken by South Wilts. South Wilts needs to move in towards that central clutch now. Grab Chipping Variable, grab Beeston after it, grab Hattersley finally, and then open up Yamalot for them. They're going to need to do so mighty smartish. It might serve them well to sort of cement their position a bit more. St. Paul's are managing to go and dominate that top area there. They get Trumpeton, they get Pinkton, they're heading up towards Tudor Hammer there. Presumably they'll get it. They navigate through that tight, narrow pass there, like it's not even there. Really, really nice movement. Clearly they're doing some planning to work out their route there. Bit of a tussle there. They bounce off of each other once or twice. Chipping Variable taken. St. Paul's able to take Chipping Variable there because of its connection through Trumpeton. There's a bit of a fight going on there for Badger Nest, but it does fall to St Paul's as well. Pinkton is going to now fall to South Wilts. That's going to break the link to Tudor Hammer. That does subtract some points, but it's not going to matter to St Paul's. They get Scarsingford. They can head towards that central clutch now. They could go and get Banana Nest if they wanted to. They go for Beeston, presumably up to Hattersley now. South Wilts are going to try and go and claim that central clutch. I think they're going to make an attempt on Hattersley, but they do not realise what St Paul's has done here. They realise it now when that capture fails. They're going to hope. Their best chance here is to go up towards Flalesbury. No, they're making an attempt on Yamalot. They haven't realised. They don't know what the links are. Yamalot instead falls to St Paul's. Oh my goodness, what a strong performance from St Paul's. They're going to get iTrumpet in there and break another link there. Flalesbury briefly held a moment of glory there for South Wilts, but unfortunately St Paul's take it away with 34 points to 6 at that end there. Really, really strong performance from St Paul's.
Oh, that has got a sting for South Wilts there. An amazing performance from them, but as the clock struck 0, 6 points to 34, that's just an amazing performance from such an amazing team that is St Paul's. Commiserations to South Wilts there. They joined late. They got through even through the playoffs and then through our first round of knockouts, but unfortunately were knocked out by the amazingness that is
the mighty St Paul's.
The mighty St Paul's,
yeah.
Indeed.
Fantastically well played to South Wilts there. They were a late entrant. They only made their first appearance in League 3, but they just popped to the last few territories there and were wiped out at the end by St Paul's, who will be going through to the semis. Now let's have a look at what is going to happen in this last of the quarterfinals, Mr. Jake.
Yeah, we are here. Quarterfinal number 4. In the pink side, I guess it's not really a corner, we have Team KEG, Kegs Chelmsford. And in the yellow corner, we have COI number 1, the College of Richard Collier. Now, we see here almost very much mirrored there. We have Kegs Chelmsford going for the northern approach, taking the Pinkton territory, and COI number 1, whilst they're going very nicely there, being able to take... They were trying to get Swixto there, but unfortunately, because they missed out on claiming Banana Nest, they have no links. And had they claimed that, they'd be doing amazingly well with successful movements and claims towards Swixto and Scarsingford and even Beeston. But unfortunately, because they don't have that link, they can't claim them. And it seems they just sat there a little bit in confusion as to what's happened. And they're clearly not quite taking track of the fact that because they have no territory links to anything, they will not be able to claim any of these territories unless they either go back for Banana Nest or they move up further north towards Yellowware or Hivekirk. But in the meantime, Kegs, amazing performances there, bathing the left-hand side of our arena in a wash of pink. Huge.
Magenta.
No, it's pink. Huge, huge numbers of points there from absolutely an amazing team of Kegs. Well, they're not a team of Kegs, the team from Kegs.
Yeah, the team from Kegs. Yeah, so what happened to Colliers there was kind of 2 mistakes. One was a movement calibration mistake. Right, they went past Banana Nest and they didn't manage to capture it. But the deeper mistake here is a intelligent movement behavior, right? For the teams at the very top, teams like Kegs, if they miss out a territory and then have claims starting to fail, they'll realise what's going on and backtrack. But unfortunately, the behaviour just wasn't there for Colliers. They didn't have the backtracking, and that has come to bite them. And they lose 24-0 there.
Oh, yeah, that's...
So... Yeah, that
is rough there for
Sorry, Jake. That's a goodbye to your alma mater.
Yeah, unfortunately so. Yeah, but I mean, I can still sit here proud of them getting all the way through to the quarterfinals
yeah,
and being knocked out.
No small feat.
By performing really valiantly throughout, and even knocking down the mighty HRS2, which is. That feels good.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, pipped at the post. So let's take a look very quickly at what the knockout bracket looks like now. So now coming into the semi-finals, we have HRS3, MCK, St. Paul's, and Kegs. Now, again, a lot went on there, and I think we're going to need some help sort of analysing exactly what happened. So I'm going to hand over again to our volunteering colleague, Jenny. What on earth was that?
So I think, as we've seen in these quarterfinals, a lot of the matches have been decided based on whether teams have been checking whether they've been able to successfully capture a territory. So as you mentioned in the match with CLY and KEG, CLY just missed being able to get a nice long stream of territories. The same in the match of HRS3 and YSH. YSH made a couple of missteps and didn't manage to check that they had successfully captured all of their territories. And so I think we can see a clear winning strategies are ones which are very, very careful and considered in checking and knowing the state of the territories at each point. So in the match against MCK and WER, it's been a bit of a surprise because WER has been very high performing, but as you can see, just a small error of movement getting them stuck against that central wall and allowing MCK to take Beeston, which has been commonly seen throughout loads of these matches. The team that holds Beeston is quite often the team that ends up with the highest score. Another match we've seen is that you talked about was the SWI versus SPA, and these are both teams managing to take a lot of territories quite quickly, but the strategy of going over the top of the map, allowing you to take the 3 bronze territories, giving you more points per territory, meant that despite only having a couple more territories, the score for SPA was over double that of SWI. So looking ahead to what we can expect to see in the semi-finals, we've got a match of KG versus SPA, both teams that in the early leagues were not showing large number of game points, but in League 4 have been very highly scoring, and again in the knockouts we've seen both of them have had some extremely high scores. So I think this could go either way and is going to be a very hotly contested match. We've also got HRS3 versus MCK, who on the other hand are both teams which have shown a lot of consistency and throughout the leagues have just performed very reliably and always done well. So there should be two very interesting matches coming up.
Excellent. Well, I very much look forward to that, and thank you very much, Jenny, for actually explaining what on earth we saw there, because they were some very, very interesting matches. So, let's see exactly what and who is playing in these matches. So, coming up in the next 48 seconds, we have in semi-final number 1, HRS team number 3 against the Malay College. I have no idea who's going to win this one.
The obvious one would be HRS3, of course, but the Malay College, having knocked out another HRS and We Robot, are not to be trifled with. This should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, there is
So we've got
no idea.
Yeah. So we've got Hills Road. They'll be in the pink. MCK, the Malay College, will be in the yellow. Good luck, both teams, for whatever that is worth at this point. And here we go. Hills Road 3. They're the slightly quicker team off the mark, but it's not really going to matter. They both captured about the same time, both going for the south route. Hills Road 3 line up to get the tall ship, a very similar strategy being followed by the Malay College. They line up for Switchstow. Hills Road 3 up for Chipping Variable, but presumably we see the Malay College go up towards Skarsingford. They go for it. Now this is going to be a speed fight to go into Beeston, presumably. No, it's not. Different strategy here from the Malay College. They're going up towards Hivekirk. Skarsingford taking from under their nose, but that's not going to make an enormous difference. We have Skarsingford. Sorry, correction. We have Scarborough Fire taken up there by the Malay College. Hills Road Team number 3. They take Hivekirk. Ponyhurst as well are going to fall to Hills Road 3. This is all looking quite close, but what are MCK going to do here? They need to move forward. They need to take Hivekirk. They need to start taking territories here. That was quite painful. The loss of Scarborough Fire there is quite painful for the Malay College. They need to move. They need to pull something out of the hat here. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. Hills Road 3, they're lining up to take Hattersley in the middle there. But they're not quite getting aligned. It looks like they're trying to push in, but they're pushing against the wall, and that's messing with their positioning slightly. But that's not really going to matter, ultimately. With 16 points against 4 and only about 15 seconds to go, they do get it. That will give them the opportunity to head up towards Yamalot. Which they go and they grab. Will they get it in time? They do. So 28 points there, looking really good. And they do pip the Malay College there. Hills Road 3 through to the finals.
Oh, wow. That...
yeah.
What an amazing performance there from HRS3. A well-deserved entry through to our grand final. Now that wasn't the last match we saw from Team MCK. To go to third place, we have a dedicated match of which the losing teams from both the semis will go into, and then they will be able to fight it out for third place. So, semi-final number 2, match number 158. We have in the pink corner, we have Kegs Chelmsford. Very, very strong team. Very strong performances through the league. Very strong performances through the knockout so far. In the yellow corner, the team from St. Paul's. The very, very strong performing team. Again, strong through the league, strong through the knockouts.
Kegs are strong. They are the strongest, going by the league, they are the strongest team still remaining in this knockout. But I would be very scared going up against the Pauls right now.
Yeah, this is not going to be... Oh, and we have seen that both teams going for the Northern strategy. That's not something we see every day. St. Paul's there taking Yellowware, and then on towards Scarborough Fire. Kegs Chelmsford taking Pinkerton, and then moving in towards Trumpeton rather than going back for the rather safe territory that is Tudor Hammer. Yeah,
so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out down in the south. Oh, I say this, it looks like St. Paul's is actually sticking up north for now. Will they be able to cut off some of those territories?
Oh, maybe. They're now moving towards Trumpeton, and that's going to at least claim that one, and claiming Pinkerton gives them some points. It doesn't actually sever anything. To sever things, they'd need to claim chipping variable, variable, and then down towards Bagdeness. But instead, they're going towards Tudor Hammer.
Trumpeton gives them that path in towards claiming chipping variable.
Yeah, there we go. There's shipping variable down just as Kegs Chelmsford go to claim Port Lucent there down in the bottom. But now St. Paul's, because they do have a claim to it, they claim it, and it's immediately taken away from them as Kegs claim shipping variable.
See, Kegs were able to backtrack. They were able to figure out what's happened there. They went back and they got shipping variable back. I'm not sure what situation they're in now. They're still alive. They're still in the game. They go for Beeston. No, they don't get it in time. Shipping variable gets taken away from them there. Oh no, now Kegs are stuck in a loop. No, they're not.
No, they recover.
I tell a lie. They recovered. They were trying it a couple of times, and now they go and get shipping variable.
Will they be able to go back and take Beeston and sort of recover that train of thought? Maybe.
Don't know how much of a path they're going to cut a lot of points off here. 40 down to 26 there in the last couple of seconds. 40 down to 26 for St. Paul's, but just not quite enough.
Yeah, knocking 14 points from your opponent with one territory claim. That shows exactly the strength that is claiming territories and severing connections there. That was an amazing set of semi-final matches. And as we move out of the semis, let's take a look at our knockout bracket, and we can see there that the first team into the finals, we have HRS number 3, and they will be competing against St. Paul's. And in the third place match coming up very shortly, we have Team MCK versus Kegs Chelmsford. So, Mr. Barrett Sprott, what was that?
Make sense of
Hello.
What's going on here?
Yes, sure. So, let's go on to a review of the semi-finals. Those are some pretty excellent semis. Let's go through the matches one by one. It's not many, of course. So first off, we've got Hills Road 3 versus the Malay College. The Malay College, they were briefly ahead. There was a point where they were at 12-10. However, they did get stuck against that wall at the starting zone, and they seemed to give up before the walls fell. So sadly, they couldn't really recover from that. Next up is KEG versus SPA, so Kegs Chelmsford versus St. Paul's. So the KEG versus SPA actually went against each other in League 4 quite recently. And we saw that KEG won that previous match, as you can see on the left-hand side of that diagram there. So it's interesting to see the reversal here, that SPA seems to have consistently improved their code, even though both teams are very strong contenders. SPA was able to improve their code and managed to beat through that, and managed to get through KG. So we have got the final between SPA and HRS3, and the third place is going to be the Malay College versus Kegs Chelmsford. But first, let's look back at the teams which didn't quite make it. So there are three teams we've highlighted here, which did really well in the leagues, but didn't quite make it to the finals, sadly. The teams are KEG, MAI, and WEI. You can see we've highlighted them here in this league points, game points chart. And you can see that they were very strong contenders throughout, and especially at the very end, they all had very good code. However, sadly, they didn't quite make it into the finals. We've enjoyed seeing their excellent performance during the leagues, and it's a shame we didn't quite have the luck to get through to the finals. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Andy. So, Mr. Lin, the third place match coming up here.
The competition for third place, it's going to be between Kegs and the Malay College, who will get that prize and be able to stand on the podium, and who unfortunately is going to be going home with nothing. So all to play for here. Find out who gets that bronze medal. And we have MCK, the Malay College. They will be appearing in the pink, and they will be going up against Kegs, appearing in the yellow. This could go either way. They're both evidently strong teams. Kegs ahead, going by the league, but given the amount of changes that have happened to the code, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Kegs going north there. We have a south movement instead from their opponents, MCK. MCK lining up for the tool ship. Kegs up there getting yellowware. They line up on Ponyhurst as well, presumably. No, are they getting quite a bit stuck on the yellowware there? MCK, they line up, they get chipping variable. It falls to them, looks like they're lining up now going up towards Badger Nest, going at that really tricky, narrow choke point on the left there. They grab Hivekirk Kegs grab Hivekirk. They now need to figure out what they want to do. They have two options here. They can either go north, go towards the bronze territory in Flalesbury, or go for south, go down towards Skarsingford. And unfortunately, it looks like at this point they are ramming the wall. It looks like they are making the mistake of thinking Skarsingford is dead ahead of me. I'll just move straight towards it. But unfortunately, there's a wall in the way. The radar, the secondary radar, does penetrate through walls. I can't remember off the top of my head what frequency it is, but it is a frequency that will penetrate that distance. So unfortunately, at the moment, it's looking very strong for MCK. Kegs are going to be quite worried if they're watching. MCK, the lineup, they're not quite sure what they're doing here, but ultimately it doesn't matter as long as they don't undo one of their previous connections. They get Beeston, they're presumably going to go up for Hattersley, get that bronze territory here, and now we are resetting the match and watching it from the beginning. Okay, free instant replay. Let's talk through what's happened again here.
Yeah, that was a strange match. Jenny, it seems there's some technical difficulties and things. Can you explain to us exactly what happened with the match, not with the difficulties?
Hang on, we haven't watched the match here, have we?
I thought we just did.
Yeah, it just cut off halfway through, mate.
Okay, here's the half of it then.
All right. As we were. Right, this is the point where Kegs are bouncing back and forth. They need to figure out what they're going to need to do. MCK lined up, they unclaim Badgerness. Not sure why they've done that. They lined back up on Pinkton. And they grab Pinkton. They're going to need to navigate north if they want to grab Tudor Hammer. No, they don't quite get it. They're turning around. They're not quite sure what to do. We have that walls dropping there marks the 1 minute mark into this match. 1 minute left. They grab Tudor Hammer. Now they need to line up down here, get more territories. We see here Kegs, as I mentioned before, they're stuck in a situation where I think they're trying to head for Skarsingford and have just been bitten by the fact that there's that wall in the way. Beeston here falling to MCK. We saw this before. They line up towards Hattersley here, and we have been cut off again. Yeah, there we go. They line up now towards Skarsingford, and they grab it, and now head down, presumably going down towards Beeston again. Okay, I think they're using Beeston as an intermediate point there. They head down towards Port Lucent. 20 seconds on to go here. We're not quite sure. They're going to now head up. If they can get Hive, no, they don't quite get it in time, but that doesn't really matter. They get 22 points there for MCK, beating out the only 6 from Kegs.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Very difficult to track, lots of things going on, but there was a lot going on that match. Jenny, can you sort of help us unpack exactly what went on there?
So for these two teams, we've previously seen them before, and they've looked quite closely matched. The last time they played each other in League 3, they drew, and so there's sort of a lot to play for in this match. Sadly, it does look like KG just didn't have quite robust enough collision avoidance, and so it just left them in a loop that got them stuck against the wall. And I think if they hadn't done that, they could have put up more of a fight. But as it is, I think both teams have performed very well over the course of the league and knockouts, and have produced some very good code. It's just a shame that there was the small error from Kegs. So looking ahead, we've got the finals next, and it's SPA versus HRS3. And as you can see here, we've got, you can see the game points they've scored across the leagues. And there's been a difference in approach. So HRS3 has been at the top of the pack, been very consistent throughout their leagues, whereas SPA, you can see that meteoric rise just at the League 4 point. So it will be a very contested match. So some things we can expect to see are both teams have some very impressive code. SPA have got some very interesting things where they mirror their movement so that they can use the same code regardless of which zone they start in. They've been using async capture really effectively to be able to move away from territories while they're capturing. They're checking to see whether links have still been held, making sure they travel back via paths which go close to territories that they want to check. They've got some very good localization working. And HRS3, they've got some very interesting code that will choose paths based on the distance and the potential score that they can gain from going via those paths. They've got some very well-tuned movements, and their performance looks like it's showed a high level of testing and refinement. So I think going into the final, it'll be a match of two very, very strong robots.
It's exactly what I like to see in a finals. Thank you very much, Jenny. Alistair, this could be one hell of a match.
Really could. I mean, they are really, really strong teams coming in here. Hills Road 3, if we went by the very early stages of the competition, would be the favourites, but St Paul's are scary. I don't know who's going to... I really do not know which way this is going to go. It really could go either way. And it would not surprise me if this came down to individual tiny mistakes, as if it were like a Formula One race. But this really could come down to a speed fight over how quickly one of them gets beasted. This is going to be super close, I think.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're in for a very high tense, very high pressure finals. I'm glad we aren't in for a repeat of the wonderful finals that were. You can tell Alistair knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
the
I know
finals
exactly what
of SR2021, where this was a 4-robot match, and within the first 30 seconds of the match, all 4 robots were immobilized. And whilst commentating these matches with a lot going on is actually quite difficult. Commentating nothing.
Commentating in nothing is hard, but it's also it's hard to follow. The standard of these robots is so high. But it's so high.
Yeah, we have seen time and time again both of these teams doing amazingly well. St Paul's, even back in some of the previous seasons, were able to do a complete full house of this current arena, which is a huge, huge effort.
I think we've seen Hills Road get a full house in League 3, though, if I remember rightly.
I think you're right, yeah.
I doubt we're going to get one today. And off they go for these grand finals, Jake.
Yeah, there we are. St Paul's there going for the top approach, going north, taking Pinkton and Tudor Hammer, whilst HRS number 3 going for Banana Nest and Switchstow. It's off to a slightly slower start there, but they are still nicely claiming some territories there in the south. St Paul's there giving a total of 10 points there. Great, because they have taken Tudor Hammer, which obviously is worth 4 points rather than the normal 2. Hills Road instead looked like they may be going, or they looked like they were going for the Hattersley Gamelot strategy, but instead they haven't taken Hattersley from the south. They may be trying to drive around it and claim it from the north. But we could be seeing something interesting here. If St Paul's were able to take Banana Nest, which it seems they didn't, they would have been able to completely cut off all territories claimed by HRS3. And
They didn't have a link to Banana in this.
no, they didn't. Yes.
They did have a link to Skarsgård though, so they do manage to get that cut off. But they get cut off themselves. That's interesting.
Yeah, just as because HRS3 there had the connection through Gamma, they were able to reclaim Ponyhurst and steal it back. 18 points to 8 currently as we enter the final 30 seconds of the grand finals here.
They need to go for a fight over that south section. Oh god, are they caught on that wall?
It looks like HRS3, they're not moving. I think they may be caught on that corner of the wall, and with 20 seconds left and
Yikes.
SPA storming through the
I'll
remaining
take a solid
territories.
yikes out of 10 for Hills Road.
Oh, yeah, we could see there immediately as St. Paul's were driving towards Hammer. As soon as it came in range, they saw they claimed it and backed off. Amazing territory strategy usage there. And with 3 seconds left, and there it is, clock strike 0. 36 points.
36 to 8. Wow. Wow. St. Paul's, man.
Oh damn.
Oh damn.
Oh damn. Oh damn.
Oh damn.
That is 3 oh dams.
That's 4.
Ah, yes.
They are.
Math.
They are. Oh my god, St. Paul's so good. And Hills Road 3 are no slouches, man.
Absolutely not.
Hills Road 3 are a scary team themselves. They are a scary team themselves. Look at that run they had through the knockouts. But St. Paul's, they take it home. My goodness indeed.
Oh, I absolutely cannot. That was such an interesting match with lots going on. St. Paul is showing their amazing strength, some of their amazing tactics and abilities, and everything has been great.
Like, that graph we had earlier of their rise, like sort of mediocre league points, game points still scored in that first league. And then League 2, they're looking a bit stronger. League 3, they're starting to look scary. By the time we get to League 4, I mean, and then they just come in and storm it. I'm buzzing. That was amazing.
Absolutely great.
Right. Well, goodness me. I think with that, we've got to say we are closing out SR 2021. I would say massive congratulations to all the teams. The quality of the robots, the bar has been stratospheric this year. It's been absolutely amazing. Huge congratulations to all of you. The circumstances of this year were not easy. I don't think any of us knew how anything was going to be panning out, whether we could even, whether teams could even meet in person at all this year. At the start, we had way back in, what was it, November, we had Kickstart, launched all of this up, dropped that game on you with that first challenge from League 1. The basic territory claiming, maximum extent scored, getting used to that mechanic and controlling these robots in the simulator. Solid performances in League 1. Then through League 2 at you, where we made the navigation challenge more difficult, added the territory links, made all that tricky stuff around like getting the links and the possibility of breaking them and stealing a bunch of each other's territory. That's where the strategy really became to come into it. You all adapted to that amazingly. League 3, we saw the crazy locking stuff. We saw that really tight gap at the start there, which you all had to figure out how to do that really precise navigation to get around. And then League 4, where we dropped the atomic bomb of that new arena design, which you all had to completely adapt to. Have all risen to the challenge absolutely magnificently. Huge congratulations to all the teams. That was amazing. Before we go through the prize giving ceremony, I'd just like to say a few thank yous. Thank you to the Motorola Solutions Foundation, whose funds have carried us through these last few years. I want to say thank you to our trustees, to Scarzy, Thomas Scarsbrook, to Diane Dowling and David Massey. A huge thanks to our volunteers who give up our free time to make this happen, to our mentoring team who've been helping you out this year. I want to say a special thank you to, grudgingly though I say it, an enormous thanks to Jake, who's put an unbelievable amount of effort into making
It's
this
true, I
competition
really
work.
have, if I do say so myself.
I wouldn't go that far. I want to say thanks to our competition operations team who've been behind like all the Discord and making matches work and making this live stream work. To James and Peter, Jenny and Will. I want to say a special thanks to Will for the amount of work he has put into the simulator and getting that all work. Like that, a lot of that has just like been let's make Will make the changes, which is not great, and he's just like, yeah, not even a problem. He blasts through it. I want to say thanks to Andy Barrett Sprott as well, who you met on the live stream today, who managed the Discord and has been managing us.
Yeah, if you want to thank someone for the Discord, it's Andy.
And a thank you as well to our kit team who've been plugging away in the background, keeping everything going for next time we're able to do a proper competition in person. I want to say a huge thanks to all the team leaders, your mentors and teachers, scout leaders and so on, who've been instrumental in making this competition happen. We absolutely could not make this competition happen without them. They're taking a lot of responsibility, they're taking a lot of different pieces that need to be put together, a lot of bureaucracy in a lot of cases. Their work is sometimes quite behind the scenes as well, but absolutely this competition relies on them. A massive thank you to all of them. And of course the biggest thank you to all the competitors, all of you. It's fairly obvious. No one is going to be surprised when if I say this competition wouldn't be possible without the competitors. Obviously not possible, but really, like, you bring so much to this competition. So much to this competition. It's been great to see these teams. It's been great to see how you've all progressed. Thank you for coming. We've really enjoyed these leagues and these knockouts. Thank you for being here. And congratulations to everyone. Let's talk, Mr. Jake, about some prizes.
Yes, let's, because whilst every team has done an incredible performance throughout this entire 7 months of grueling development and testing and competing and league matches and everything else that goes into a student robotics competition, every single team and every single competitor has done amazingly. But that still doesn't mean that there aren't a select few which get not only the satisfaction of knowing that some random person on YouTube has said they have done a good job, they get to leave with an actual prize placing. So yes, let's move into the actual prize giving and announcing the final winners for Student Robotics 2021. And with this, we're going to start off with the Online Presence Award. So we award the Online Presence Award for teams who, funnily enough, have a very strong online presence, whether this be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, blogs, even the Discord. Any online presence contributes towards this, and we keep track of it. And then we award the team that has done the best. And so this year, the winner of the Online Presence Award for Student Robotics 2021 is Team YSH. Team Yesan Sultan Hayes Hasanal Bolkar. I'm very sorry if I completely butchered that, but yes, Team YSH are the winners of the Online Presence Award for their amazing Instagram accounts and everything else they have done. Their Instagram account especially has been amazing to see exactly all the things they've been doing. They've put up some amazing videos, amazing posts, and they are very, very well-deserved winners of the Online Presence Award.
Honourable mentions here go to Hilton collectively and to St Paul's for their immense efforts in what we're going to refer to as fun posting.
We both hate the term,
which they excel at. It's apparently a synonym. Let's talk about the Rookie Award.
Yes, so the Rookie Award. The Rookie Award is the award we give for the team which has never competed in Student Robotics before, never done one of these before, but the team who's never done this before and places highest in our league. And the team which has done that and has placed highest in our league is Team WER, Team We Robot, with a huge 52 league points, and in fact the highest number of game points out of any team this entire competition year, 274 game points.
Yeah, we're super happy to give this to We Robot. Very, very well deserved. Rookie team have come from nothing. They haven't had a Student Robotics mentor. They've had a very dedicated team leader. They have come from nothing, competing in the competition in their second language. They're a team in France, and they produced a fantastic robot. We talked a lot in those finals about its intelligence, the ability of it to go and backtrack. We've seen the code, like it's some intense maths going on in their code. We Robot very, very well deserved this award.
Yeah, amazing performance from them throughout this competition. The next award is the Committee Award. Now, this one as Student Robotics, we award this one to the team who we believe has done the best engineering, the best ingenuity in ideas and in execution, well-structured code, great ideas, simple ideas. It doesn't matter. It's all about the what we think they have done. So, the Committee Award this year for Student Robotics 2021 goes to the team from Hills Road number 2. HRS number 2 are the winners of the Committee Award. Alistair, why did we do this?
Hills Road number 2 wrote really good code. Like, no other way of putting it. It's really well structured. It's clear what it does. They're using PID control to do the precise movements. They've moved stuff around into lots of different files to keep stuff separate. There's the sensible states, which is all handled in a state machine, exactly the way that one of us would handle it professionally. They just wrote really good code. It's just solid engineering principles, start to finish, and it did really well for them. They absolutely deserve this.
Yeah, 100%. Reading through their code, it's absolutely beautiful code. Very, very well designed there to HRS team number 2. So, now let's move on to the main events-ish. Now let's award third, second, and first, and we're going to start this by awarding position number 3. So, third place in Student Robotics 2021 is Team MCK, the Malay College Kuala Kangsar.
Fantastic team. We saw that magnificent performance run through the finals there. They're a team who came in late. They weren't actually in Student Robotics at the time of the first league, so they started off at a disadvantage. That didn't bother them in the slightest. Really just great teamwork from them. They got it together. We saw their code change quite radically between different sessions as they went, clearly iterating. Well deserved for them to get into that third place.
Very well done indeed. Second place in Student Robotics 2021 goes to HRS number 3, the team from Hills Road.
Hills Road, historically, of course, a very, very strong team. They've come onto the podium many times. As a college, this team specifically also had very strong code, served them very well. They were a scary team, and they did really well. Some magnificent performances then from the knockout.
Yes, very, very strong team there, as we saw throughout all of this, but there can only be one winner, one team that leaves this year with the first place, the grand winner. First place in Student Robotics 2021 is St. Paul's College Team SPA. Very, very well done to that team.
Absolutely well deserved. I mean, St. Paul's just wrote a fantastic robot. I mean, it beats my one, hands down. God, it's the level of detail they put into this. I think we all knew there was something special there when they showed off in the first time in that friendlies before before League 4, that ability where they turn around and line up for the next territory while they were still at the previous one. Their robot is just solid, and it won because it was better than all the others. There was no chance, no luck, no convenient flukes involved here. They wrote a fantastic robot, and that rightly put them up at the first place.
Yeah, very, very well done to the teams there. Third place, TKC. Second place, HRS number 3. And the grand winners, right at the top of the podium here, Team SPA. Very, very well done to these 3 teams and to all of the teams. But unfortunately, that is the end of Student Robotics 2021.
All good things.
All good things, yes, must unfortunately come to an end, and this is that end. The simulator that you've all been using will stay up on the docks. We're not going to remove it. If you want to play around with it, keep going. Our support may dwindle, but the docs and the download links and everything will stay there. Keep having fun. Highly encourage it. If you are just graduating out of college this year, and you've very much enjoyed doing this experience, we highly welcome you to become a Student Robotics volunteer. Student Robotics is a volunteer-led event. We all put in our free times because we not only do we enjoy doing this so much, but we enjoy and take great pride out of seeing what all of the competitors can get out of this and what everyone else involved in the wider Student Robotics community can get out of this. If you are interested in volunteering, please, on our website, there's a link at the top, studentrobotics.org/volunteer. Go there, sign up, and we hope to see you for next year. For competitors that all competitors who have been entering this, we welcome your feedback. The only way we can improve, the only way we can get better is by understanding what bits you like, what bits we didn't, and how we can improve. So the best way to tell us that is with our feedback form. That form is at tinyurl.com/SR2021 feedback. Definitely please tell us what you think, tell us what you like, tell us what you didn't like, and tell us how we can do things better.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you for being with us on this journey over this last year. It's been amazing. We've really enjoyed it. We hope you've really enjoyed it. Links will be in what I'm reliably informed is called the Doobly-Doo. Live streaming is still a new medium for us, so we hope you've enjoyed our broadcasts, and we hope to see you all later for the start of Student Robotics 2022 in whatever form it might take. Stay safe, congratulations, and it's goodbye from Jake.
Bye-bye all.
And finally, it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.